Hey guys, Golden here, and welcome back to another Fortnite Mobile video. So a couple weeks ago, I actually interviewed DuckyTheGamer, and since there wasn't any Fortnite Mobile news this week, I decided I'm just gonna upload this video instead. I know it's a long one, but in a little bit, I'm gonna have some timestamps in the comment section that will bring you to a specific question you might want to be answered. So be sure to check that out. Everyone, be sure to go check out Ducky's channel if you haven't already. He's such an awesome content creator. Also, be sure to subscribe if you end up enjoying this video. You can use code GOLDEN to support me. We also got Grant Go and Santa's interviews coming out soon. And by the way, I know some parts cut out at the end at times, but I ended up fixing that for the future. It's only for the first couple minutes or so, so it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, enjoy the video. So,
okay.
I mean, you want to just get into it?
Let's do it, bro. Get into it.
Okay. First question. So I know, like, you made a video about a while ago. You know, thought, like, you hated it a couple months ago. But now, how do you feel about Autofire?
So Autofire is an interesting beast, to say the least, because mobile, like, if you've played like a PC game before, you know picking up Fortnite isn't too hard. If you've played, everyone's probably played it with a controller, but really nobody's ever played mobile battle royales or mobile shooters on their phone before. So somebody playing Fortnite is probably their first time playing the game. They're probably gonna suck at it. So Epic Games doesn't want people to suck at the game then immediately uninstall, so they made Autofire so that new people could play the game and not suck too bad at the beginning. The problem with it is that they haven't touched it since it got released. I completely agree and understand the feature, and it needs to be in the game, but at the same time, the feature was added, months ago? And when I went to the HQ, they even admitted, like, we haven't touched it in months. There's been no tweaking, no adjustments. The skill level of players, increased over time. People are still just slaying out with Autofire. New guns have been added, and I don't mind Autofire at all if it's managed, but it hasn't been managed well. There's too many situations and scenarios where having Autofire is better than, like, being a human and, like, shooting. The automatic part of it just takes over, and it has too many advantages in some situations. If they just tweak it a little bit, I'd be fine with it. It still is unfortunate just to get one pumped or something like that, or get lasered because some noob just staring at you and doing nothing. But I understand it. It's going to be in the game, never going to be removed. So if they tweak it, I don't really have any problems. If we should be good to go.
I asked, like, my fans about what questions they wanted, and this was probably, like, the most asked question. So I know you kind of, like, touched on this a little bit, but how do you feel about Switch players in mobile lobbies?
Ooh, so I actually enjoy them, because one thing that, for me as a person on my skill level, I'm not trying to, like, brag or boast or anything, but I've been playing this game for a super long time, and it got to the point where the mobile lobbies were just they're too tiresome. You have the Autofire people, you have people not building, and it just got really, like, boring to play. And so the introduction of Switch players, I felt like there was a little bit of extra skill added. It's not, like, crazy, and to the fact we're to the point where we can't handle them. But I'm at my skill level. I have no clue how other people feel who pick up this game and play with 2 fingers or 3 fingers on their phone, like, once a week or something like that. That's just my point of view. I definitely understand the frustration some people have that Switch players are OP and they have a controller and stuff like that. So once again, it's one of the things that Epic kind of just threw in the game and haven't really taken any feedback into consideration. So I honestly would be interested if, like, a poll is thrown up somewhere and if people liked it or didn't like it. It's not too bad for me, but I feel like it as much.
Okay, so we got the World Cup coming up, of course. Do you think any mobile players could possibly get into the World Cup or no?
No. It's not really, like, a dig at mobile players, but even, like, the world best, like, PC and console players can't even get in. Like, I was just watching Tifu right before this, and he's just joking about it. He's like, I'm not getting in, there's no way. And so he's just gonna screw around and stream it. It's not really a matter of fact of, like, does somebody have the skill to get in? Like, if there was, like, 100 mobile players that had the skill of PC players, that we're all trying to go for it, I'd say yeah. But there's only a few mobile players that I think have the skill to get in, and then even from there, it's just like an RNG fest. So I think the World Cup as a whole is a really poorly ran tournament, but I think there's a lot of really good mobile players that can compete against level of PC players. We just haven't been given the opportunity, and the World Cup is not a good opportunity. It's not a good platform for something like that.
Of course, in mobile, there's 60 FPS, 30 FPS, and 20 FPS. So, do you think that 60 FPS players have a massive advantage over the players who play with 30 FPS, or does it just look better?
I wouldn't say massive, but there definitely are some pretty big advantages. Because I remember the first day that I got my 60 FPS mod, because I don't think it was even out for my iPad at the time. And I was like, holy crap! One, it's just so much more fun to play because it's smooth, it's crisp. It's just an overall just better gaming experience. And on top of that, when you have more frames, it's just doubling. I don't say doubling your accuracy, but you have twice as many frames to maneuver and look around and do certain actions. Whereas 30 FPS or even 20 FPS, the amount of I guess I don't want to say how technically it can is discouraged with lower FPS, but definitely 60 FPS is a huge advantage. I wouldn't say that somebody with 30 can't beat 60, or somebody with 60 is gonna beat somebody with 30 FPS all the time. But definitely it is a bigger and better advantage. If somebody was yo, I'll pay $100 to go play a game with 30 FPS, I'm not taking that bet. It sucks too much. I just can't go.
So, do you think that 60 FPS and should face 60 FPS players, and 30 would face 30, or no?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. It's one of those. The problem with mobile is there's such a range. You have people on huge, $800 iPads, and then you have people on small iPhone 5s or 6s, whatever. They're all in the same lobby. So just how mobile is designed, it's not pay to win, but if you have a more expensive and a better device, then you'll have advantages that other people don't. And so I wouldn't say that, because mobile as itself is already kind of a smaller platform for dedicated players. And so when you start chunking them up, here's 30 FPS lobbies, and then iPad lobbies, and then iPhone lobbies, and then Android lobbies, you're gonna get it where it's a minute queue time, because just realistically you don't have that many players to segregate the lobbies into. So I wouldn't think they would do that. I don't think it makes sense to do that. There's plenty of iPhone 6s players that are absolutely beasts. The guy who has the most mobile solo wins in the world is an iPhone 6s player. So just because if you have a good device and you have more frames, it doesn't make you better, but you can definitely get an advantage if you put the time and effort into it, I guess.
Okay, so this was again super asked questions. Question: how did you find the perfect HUD for you?
So when I first got my iPad, I got it back in June of last year, and at the time I was I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm making. But I think Flashing or Adam X Legend, they were the two beasts in the iPad scene at the time. So I was I'm just gonna copy their HUD. So I didn't copy it exactly at the time, and even if I did, it doesn't matter. Over time, new buttons come out, new things are added, always tweaking my HUD. Not moving everything around, but just moving slight positions, making things bigger, making things smaller. I think people, when it comes to getting that perfect HUD, I think they copy somebody else's HUD. It doesn't work for them immediately, or in a game or two, and they just give up. I would say get a HUD, try it out for at least a day or two, make some changes. There's nothing wrong with making changes, making buttons bigger or smaller, rearranging buttons. If you moving a button a few pixels can mean the difference between you hitting it every time and you missing it every time. So I think just giving it some time, trying it out, 3 finger, 4 finger, 2 finger, there's a lot of variations. And I think actually Epic has on their plate, they're thinking about, just giving somebody the option to share my HUD. So I could say yo guys, go to this link and you'll get my HUD, and then you copy it. Yes. So I think Epic is working on that, especially getting multiple HUDs as well, because it sucks you do all this work for a HUD and you don't like it, so you have to completely scrap it. So I think just give it some time, try it out, each different HUD, and just see what works.
Okay, Do you feel that Fortnite Mobile is like not being nearly cared as much as like PC and console?
So that's a tough question to answer, because before I went to the Epic Games HQ, I had, the thought of, well, they only care about PC players, or, they care about mobile, but obviously PC is,
Superior.
a higher priority. And when I got there, like, they really do care about, and they really want it to succeed. They want mobile players to feel, like they care and they matter. But at the same time, they haven't really done much to make that, pretty visible and present. World Cup is basically just for PC players, controller players, and console. They can qualify, but it's gonna be really tough for them. There's no console, competitive scene. There's no mobile competitive scene. There's a lot of things that mobile players wish we had. Or, some extra support in terms of, Epic Games back in the mobile community. And it really, I can't say that they treat us with less respect, but in terms of, a mobile scene being treated higher than a PC scene, I'm not it's going to happen for a few more years at least. I know PUBG Mobile, they're getting like a $2 million tournament, and that game's really successful. So I think that game is a good example of, what can happen if it's treated at the same level of like their PC and console counterparts. I think they care about mobile. It's just really different. Mobile is a different platform compared to PC and console, and it's their first time making a mobile game, and so it's just different. It's a learning experience. They're trying to figure out what to do, what not to do, but I definitely would like to see more involvement in like the competitive aspect, or just getting involved more with the mobile players and stuff like that.
Okay. This is a tough question. Many people that I've interviewed didn't have an answer, so if you want, you can pass it. But why did you choose to play mobile over console and PC?
Ooh, I actually have a good answer to this one. So when I've been doing YouTube for like 8 years, and something that's always done well on my channel are mobile games. Why is that? I don't know. I play them a lot. Clash of Clans, Madden.
Yeah, I saw those.
So I think I've been playing Fortnite since season 1. I started off on like PC, and then all my friends are on Xbox, so I went to Xbox, and then season 3 I came around, and I just wasn't making any content, or the streams that were doing the videos, they weren't really doing that well. I wasn't having too much fun with the game. So mobile came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have already a following on mobile. It's Fortnite Mobile. That's not too far of a stretch. Nobody else is going to be making this content. At the same time, I'm super far behind on the skill curve for PC and console. I suck at the game. And so I'm like, oh, mobile's coming out. This is my time. Everyone's going to suck at the same time. So if I put in the time and the effort, I could become a good player and like stay above the skill curve. And so it's basically what I did. Started streaming Fortnite Mobile. Saw I was doing pretty well. And at the time, I sucked at the game. But, since people were super supportive and positive, and they keep slowly growing, I was having fun, just chilling and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I didn't think I'd get this far. Like I didn't think I'd be where I am. I just thought it'd be something to make me stand out in terms of content and something, and it's worked, and I've had fun. I'm appreciative of where I am, but I didn't pick mobile because I was like, ooh, I'm gonna blow up or something like that.
Yeah. So the weird part about mobile was the first new port, of course, from Fortnite. There was console, there was PC, and those came from like launch of Fortnite, and then of course mobile came. So mobile players, when they first came out, they were bad, like you said. Everyone was bad. It wasn't just one guy. So do you think that's why we got like the title as like bots, from everyone thinking that we were just so bad from the start?
I wouldn't say that. I just wouldn't. I think it's a few things. One, like mobile games are really casual, like Clash of Clans was listening. Like they're all just games you pick up and you play anywhere. There was no esports scene, a year and a half, 2 years ago for mobile. But the PC and the consoles, those have been, thriving esports scenes, hundreds of millions of dollars. Everyone plays on. And so I think it's just a fact of like one, it's been known as a casual platform, and then two, there hasn't been much exposure for people to be out. Like whenever people hop into my streams like, oh my gosh, I didn't know mobile player could be good. And I was like, well, there it is. There's just not much education, and in the PC and console side of things that, and that's also Epic Games. It's partially their fault. They haven't done, like I said, much competitive gameplays. They haven't, paired up, mobile players with PC players for tournaments or anything like that. And so it's just really like a lack of education. There are a lot of crazy talented mobile players, way better than I'll ever be. But they just don't have a name for themselves. They can't get out there, and if they can't get their gameplay and their content out there for the world to see, then it's tough for everyone to assume or to think we're good. So I don't really take it personally. I'm just like, I'll keep doing my thing. If somebody calls me trash, they're probably on console or PC. They don't really care. They don't know about mobile. So I think eventually, next year or two, we'll garner more respect. I've seen it, just in the last few months, a lot of pro players respecting mobile. There's still a few that just don't really care. But in general, I think it's come quite a long way since mobile first came out.
Yeah. So as you know, Fortnite Mobile, of course, we have glitches all the time. You talk about it all the time. So do you feel though like Fortnite Mobile will ever be glitch free, like no bugs?
Right now, honestly, I feel like it's a really good game right now. There's no build glitches. At least I know there's no edit glitches. There's no shooting. Right now, ironically, is one of the best stages that mobile has ever been in, but just Fortnite kind of sucks right now. Like I said, it's Epic Games. It's their first time making a mobile game. When I went to the headquarters, basically it's just so much. They have so much going on. They have PC to worry about. They have console to worry about. And it's not like to say that PC and console don't have their own glitches. The game's broken on every platform right now. And so I think over time they're going to get better with it. But mobile is a really weird and hard platform to make games on, because mobile games, this is arguably the most complex mobile game ever made. And so we have so many moving parts and pieces, 100 players, and it's just such a big game and everything's going on. Something is bound to break, whether it's game breaking or whether it's just, your hair doesn't move on one of your characters. So I think mobile players are always going to find, and just players in general, Fortnite are always going to find something to nitpick and complain about. But if you just take a step back and realize, holy crap, like this is Fortnite on a phone, like that's kind of crazy. So I think right now is a really good state of the game. I'm not dying to glitches or bugs, but just unfortunately the game as a whole is kind of doo-doo right now.
So I know, I mean, you kind of already answered this, but what do you feel about the recent update where they removed health per kill?
It's unfortunate. I mean, I'm still streaming like 5-6 hours a day without it. I would say, unless they're going to do something else that's like for the better or anything like that, then it's not a good sign. It's more, it's not even really just the health per kill. It's just Epic not acknowledging or listening to the community that scares me, because the main thing that Epic has done that makes them a great game is listen to the community. There's been a lot of like memey glitchy bugs, like the rocket ride that wasn't even supposed to be in the game, but they kept it in the game and everyone loved it. Double pump, that was pretty overpowered, but a lot of people really enjoyed it. And so the second they start taking the game like really serious, and they're not having all these fun mechanics in there that are sort of glitchy and broken but also make the game fun, I think that's when it starts to go downhill. And especially when you stop listening to your community, something you've been doing for a long time. The future doesn't look bright at the current state, but it's not to say they can't turn around and do something about it.
Yeah. So this is again a massive question. Do you feel that there's a massive difference between phone and tablet players?
No. I might get backlash for saying that, but at the same time, I know plenty of phone players who are absolute beasts, who kick my butt in scrims, who kick everyone else's butts in scrims and competitive play and slay out. Tablet, the way I say it's like, if you get a tablet, you play a tablet, it doesn't make you better than anyone else. It doesn't make you inherently like a god. You still have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. But at the end of the day, your fingers are less cramped. You can see more of the screen. And that's really all it comes down to. I played Claw for the Samsung event, and I learned that pretty quickly. I wasn't a god by any means, but I was 4 days in on the device, and this is not that bad.
Yeah.
There definitely is, if an iPad player like practices a ton, there isn't. But iPhone players are good. They're all going to be. But it's really just when it comes like the technical things, I guess, is where iPhone players struggle with. Like, you can be insanely smart at the game, and just you're kind of limited with your how mechanically experienced you can be, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But iPad players, like I said, or the tablet, you have such a huge screen real estate, and you have probably higher FPS if you're playing on the new one. So that's always going to be a debate if iPhone players should go against iPhone and tablet against tablet or whatever. I don't think that's ever going to happen unless the player base explodes. But yeah, I guess that's my answer.
This is actually, like, I wrote on my list just for Ducky because someone wanted you to ask this. Why do you stream Fortnite on Twitch over YouTube?
Okay, so mine's sort of like a personalized reason, less than like a reason that everyone can relate to. So I started streaming. I was like the first person to stream on YouTube back like April when the game first came out. Did really well for me. It's like the only reason I blew up, went from like 35K to 100 something thousand subscribers in a few months just off of streaming. And so with that, I was like, man, I would start uploading YouTube videos, like highlights, because Ninja's doing all these Daquans, they're all doing these highlight videos. And like, I want to do some of this. And so I started uploading, and my stream started going downhill. And it was, went from like a few thousand viewers concurrent over a stream to like a few hundred. And like, I got better at the game. I did everything I could, and my streams are still just not getting as many views. So it really just like YouTube algorithm sort of hated my streams. And I was like, screw it. Everyone's on Twitch. I like Twitch better as a streaming platform anyways. The emote system, the Twitch Prime, the ads. It's much better if you're a streamer to be on that platform. And so I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. And I think something that the mobile community, I'm trying to say in like the least cocky way, but like mobile player, like people on YouTube, like nobody streams, no pro player streams on YouTube aside from Nick F30. All the pro players and the sweats and the TTV lords are on Twitch. So no mobile player, I think Surfing Boy was the only one on Twitch at the time, so me going over there and I guess streaming on Twitch has sort of expanded the possibilities of people to find out about mobile players and stuff like that. And so I've got to meet a lot of people, a lot of pro players on Twitch, and they've respected me and respect the mobile just because I've gone over to Twitch. They probably wouldn't know of me if I would have gone over there. So it was more of like a personal reason to move over there, but it's been one of the best decisions for me going over there. But it's super hard to grow if you're small on there. So I was lucky I was able to like bring my YouTube boys over there.
Yeah, because I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but I think I'm gonna definitely switch over to Twitch soon. So
I mean, like it's like I know Flashing started to stream over there. It's really like consistency. Like YouTube, it's like if the algorithm likes you, like you're gonna do well no matter what. But if the algorithm doesn't like you, doesn't promote your stream, doesn't send out notifications, like you can grind as much as you want, but you're kind of screwed. So Twitch is like the more you grind, the more you seem to be rewarded on there.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. This isn't really Fortnite, but like I was getting so many. Yeah. Do you have any tips for smaller channels and how they can grow bigger?
Do something original, or if you're gonna do something, do it better than somebody else is out there. I'll use you as an example. Like nobody was doing Fortnite Mobile news, and I saw your content when you're like 8K subs, and I was like, bro, it's like just a matter of time before you start getting more traction. I was like, there it is. I mean, now putting like 50, 60, 80K views of video, and you're growing super fast. I mean, it's easy to grow when you're the first person doing something. Like I was the first person streaming on YouTube. I might not have been good at it, or some people might have been better, but I was the first. And so if you do something, be original, be unique. If somebody wants to make their own news, go for it. If somebody wants to make their own stream, go for it. But at the same time, if somebody out there is like better than you, not to be condescending, then they don't have any reason to click on your stream. Like you can make some fire thumbnails and fire titles, but if they click on the stream or your videos, and it's, you know, the lack of quality or the lack of effort isn't there, then you know, it's tougher to grow. So do it to have fun. I think a lot of people have the mindset of, I'm gonna, you know, be on YouTube to blow up and get money and get fame. I just do it because I enjoy video games. I love video games. I'm lucky enough to have it as my job. You know, anyone probably who's here, who's, I guess, quote unquote, like made it, did it as a hobby, did it as a passion. So upload content or grow your social medias because you want to, you know, for the right reasons. And I think, you know, sooner or later something will happen. You know, it took me 8 years to get to this point, you know. So I think people expect success. It just doesn't happen. It's not really a thing. So you got to put in the time, got to put in the effort, and have fun.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for doing the interview, of course.
Woo!
Let's go. You'll see this coming out. It might be on either my Monday update video or like a separate video. But yeah, thanks for taking the time. Wait, what?
It was like a 30. How are you gonna like chop? Wait, so how many other interviews have you even done?
Bro, I've done like 3. Nah, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I might have to like, I might just put you and like Santa in one video and then just like.
I don't know how long Santa talked, but I was like 30 minutes. That was like a hefty interview. So I mean, I went really elaborate into some of my points. So if you like, feel free to cut them up or like slice and dice.
I mean, I think a lot of stuff you said though was important, so I think a lot of people are gonna want to hear it. So.
Or if you're gonna do it, just add like timestamps to every question. If you're gonna upload like the chunky the thick interview, then I think that'd be smarter. Because if somebody's like, "Ooh, how do I grow?" Just go to the end.
Give me some tips, you know. Yeah, if you're ever down to play, also you can just DM me on Twitter or Discord, and we can.
For sure. I need to like do over like squad more. I don't know. This game just.
But like then again, you gotta get some solo wins. You know, get more up there.
I really want to get like top, like either like 4th or 3rd in the world, because like it won't take just like a few more days. If I grind my butt off, I could probably get there.
If you like really grind, you could.
Thanks for the interview. I'll definitely
man.
If I'm ever playing with people, just feel free to like DM me or something like that.
Yeah,
just like,
be like
chuck me a reminder.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you later, man.
See you later, man. Thanks for the call.